And then as it
Says we're
gets
now
ready,
live.
we are on live. And I wasn't even ready with my screen yet. Let me get my other screen up, everyone. If you are here, thank you for joining us and welcome to the Novi Public Library's special event, Black History Month Spotlight is what we have today, a very special guest. I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint because it's just a still picture before we go to the live picture. Try and plan it that way. Let me go back and share my screen. Thank you for joining us. It's such a pleasure to have everyone here with us for another occasion of Black History Month Spotlight. And we have a very special guest. I'm so pleased. It's going to be good conversation. So call your friends over to join us and watch and listen in on what we have to discuss today. Our very special guest is Gail Perry-Mason, and she is author, Money Matters for Youth founder, and senior director of a financial firm. And let's talk about her a little bit. She came from foster care to caring for others. And she says it's not about what she does for a living, but what she does for a life. And I love that. Money Matters for Youth was created by her 26 years ago to teach our youth in Detroit economics, empowerment, and entrepreneurship. Gail sits on numerous nonprofit boards and started I Am Ever 39 to support middle-aged, seasoned women with spice. So that me? I think that's me. Gail personally touched thousands of lives when she founded Money Matters for Youth, creating an avenue of economic empowerment for underprivileged youth while changing the lives of the entire family. She reminds everyone that in order to save our youth, we must serve them first. I love that as well. And in order to lead our youth, we must love them first. Gail doesn't want our youth to be poor, and poor is passed over opportunity repeatedly. And her favorite slogan is, let's give our youth opportunities on purpose. She is employed by an investment firm, but believes in investing in others. Her motto is success benefits others first. And I will add to that she's humble, she's sweet, she's kind, yet she's strong, active, impactful, and influential. So let's go on and take off my share screen so we can see the live picture of the person that I'm talking about. Welcome, Miss Gail Perry-Mason. Hi.
Hey, Gail, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad to have you with us this evening, joining us. And this is a trailblazer. Can you believe that you're a trailblazer?
Oh, no. Okay, you're making me feel like I am forever 39, right?
I know. Doesn't it
So
sound like that?
I really am a seasoned woman. So, yes.
I know. And then I have Katie here. She's joining us. She's helping me with all the technical things that we have going on because we are on Zoom as well as Facebook Live. And if you have any questions or comments that you want to express, please type them in the chat or in the comment section if you are on Facebook. If you just want to say hi or if you have a question or comment, I love that as well. Selecting trailblazers, I consider it African American in leadership position who is opening doors, paving ways, and impacting our current and upcoming generation. And Gail, you're certainly doing all of the above. So we're going to talk about you. How about that?
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. I am honored to be here first and foremost. Mm-hmm. And it's great to reconnect. And we have same name. We're connected for life.
So, absolutely.
I know, always.
Yes. I know you're not going to let me talk about you real long, but I do want to start right off because I think you have a really inspiring story. I mean, where you come from, I can relate to. I adopted my daughter when she was young, and I know you were adopted as well. But I think from the beginning, you were considered hard to place or something like that.
Yes.
Let's tell us, you had special needs or what was all that all about?
This is such a, to me, it's a love story, and love means let obstacles vanish effortlessly. So I think that's what it's all about. So I was given her for adoption because of my race. My biological mother was here in Detroit, and she worked at a restaurant. She was here for an internship at a restaurant called Stouffer's on Washington Boulevard in Detroit. So, and then she had an affair with a professor at Wayne State University, an African-American male, and she's a white German. She's from Germany. And then, so she was here and she was raised in upstate New York. And they had an affair, and of course, here I am. So, but they left me at the hospital, and it used to be called Women's Hospital back in the day, and it was, and my name used to be Stephanie. So my name was Stephanie Rose Rick is what they named me. Okay. So anyway, they left me at the hospital, and they just said that, and then the doctors, she just left me there. I'll put it that way. She left me at the hospital, and Detroit Medical Center, which I'm now on the trustee board there.
Wow.
So life
That's
comes full
fantastic.
circle.
Yes, it does.
So anyway, so it was Women's Hospital, then Detroit Medical Center, and then I was just left there. And then people in the hospital, made sure I was adopted. I became a ward of the state. So social workers said, well, wait a minute, there's something wrong with her. I had something called hip dysplasia, or I had these other things, because I have all these like non-identifying information that the social worker had. And they said, look, we're going to put her in a foster care home. And it was hard to place me. So I was on a list, special needs and hard to place, because of my color. And, I'm African American. But then they say, oh, well, your mom's white. I'm like, no, I'm African American. And not that I could talk back then. So for the first 3 years of my life, I went from foster care to foster care home as Stephanie Rose Rick was my name. And then finally, an African American woman in her 50s took me in. Yes, and her mother, who was in her 80s, the social worker at Methodist Children's Home, ended up saying, so finally, that's who they put me with. And this social worker named Isla Mitchell ended up taking, saying, oh no, you got to take this lady, because my mother went to a Methodist church, and she said, maybe I want a little girl. And then she was like, I changed my mind. And then back. So anyway, back and forth. So anyway, I finally got adopted, and I was there, couldn't walk or talk by the age of 3. So my mother had this doctor come over and said, you know what? I don't know what I've gotten myself into. And this doctor came over and said, you know what? I'm gonna prescribe something for her. I'm gonna prescribe love. I just need you to love her, hold her, and talk to her. And my mother said I was bald and was just crying all the time. And they said, take those braces off her legs. I had braces on my legs. They said, take them off her legs. Now, I run marathons, and I won't shut up. Once I got love, it's just like, now that's all I needed was just love. So, and that's why I said love means let obstacles vanish effortlessly, because all I remember is I was bald-headed, is what they said. I remember having a stinky head, and it was something back in the day, Gail, I don't know if you ever heard of something called Glover's Mane and Sulfur 8.
Oh, I have.
Okay. So, that's Black history right there. So Black history.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how many people would know what that is, but all I remember is having a stinky head and having that on my hair, and they would brush my hair so it could grow or whatever. So anyway, but that was love, what love did to me. And I think that's why I call it a love story. It was a blessing I was given up, and it was a blessing that I found love, or they found me and chose me to love me. And that's just like you, Gail. That's why I love you, is because you chose someone to love. And that's what it's all about. Definitely.
You're going to get me crying right from the start. It doesn't take much these days.
Oh, no.
And our connection too is the Methodist Children's Home Society. That's exactly the same place where I adopted my daughter.
Look what you did. So I would love, well, of course, I definitely want to meet your daughter. So definitely.
And Gail, look at us. Huh?
I know.
So we're going to have a good time.
I know.
And then fast forward through everything that you've been through along the way. You had life go on, and then you ended up broke, or you were broke, and then there was a connection about brokerage, and I love that. And I think I read something where you said, and I probably fast forward too much, but you had issues with finding a job. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I went away to college.
You didn't know what brokerage was, but you were broke, so you thought that was a God sent message.
I know. I went away to college, and I had my son, and then so once I went away to college and had my son, then I was like, oh my God, like I needed a job. So my mom was more like, she was like, you are, she was older, and she was like, so, and I hope that's not my son. So, I'm sorry, somebody is at my door, and I don't know who's at my door, and I hope they don't know I'm speaking right now. So whoever's at my door, I'm speaking right now. I'm not sure who it is, but anyway, somebody's knocking on my door. So, and I'm on Zoom, so whoever's on there, but I wanted to say, so anyway, so I needed a job. And, back in the day, we sent our resumes out. So as I'm sending my resume out, a brokerage firm called me. I didn't know what a brokerage firm did. I just knew I was broke. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm broke, brokerage firm. So I was like, that's where I need to work. And I always believe, divine order. So I ended up going to this brokerage firm and not knowing what they did. And that's how, God leads you. And here I am as a receptionist, loving to talk to everybody. All the customers were coming in, people were coming in. And I was like, oh my God, where'd you get your money from? And that's how I ended up. And one lady talked to me, and everybody who came in the office didn't look like me as I was a receptionist, whether they were mostly all males. And finally, a young lady came in, And she's like, I just got divorced and, I want to invest money. And I ended up talking to her because she was a young lady. And I was thinking, and I got married, pregnant, divorced, all within 6 months. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Nobody's business which came first. But anyway, so I ended up having my son. It was my oldest son, Brandon. But and I was like, wait a minute, I got divorced too. And overdraft protection at that time was my line of credit. So I was like, wait a minute. And she was like, I got $1 million. I'm like, well, wait a minute, who did you marry? And I was like, okay, so I learned, and she says, well, I never want to work. I want to invest my money. And that's how, and she says, I'm going to live off of income, off of my money. And I said, oh my God. And that's when success leaves clues. And that's how I got in the financial service industry. Because I said, well, let me go into the computer and see what people are buying and what they're doing. And that's why I kept moving up in the financial service industry. It wasn't easy, but that's what I kept doing.
Yeah, because I did see something as well where you needed you didn't have the textbooks. You didn't have some money. You needed $350.
Right. I know I needed three. So first of all, you got to have a license. It's got the Series 7 license and Series 63 and Series 65. So it's a license that we all need. And so I didn't have a license. So I said, can I get this license? I became a secretary. Then I wanted to become an advisor. And they were like, no, Gail, you are a Black female. You're a single mother. If you want extra income, you need to get on welfare. That was the exact words to me. Because I am, because I was African American. I'm like, oh, I literally started crying. I said, oh, okay. I went and picked up my son from daycare, came back to the office, had the keys to the office, and there's the Series 7 books, and there's Xerox machine. Opportunity presented itself. I Xeroxed the books. And then I studied every morning, and then I ended up passing the test. They said I'll never pass it. And they made me a licensed secretary. And that's when I started reading about people like John Rogers and Melody. Well, Melody Hobson was his intern. So John Rogers, and I started reading. I put on a seminar. I called him up and said, hey, can you come to Detroit for a seminar? And Melody Hobson said, yes, I'll come to Detroit and we'll plan it. So we planned the seminar. They gave me a list of their clients and, whether it was, University of Michigan, Wayne State, whatever, it was a lot of different people in the area that they had institutional clients. I said, okay, I'll invite them out. I learned how to write press releases, Gail. I learned how to write press releases. I learned how to go to every organization you could think of and say, hey, come to this, and put a little, blurb in there. Please come to this investment seminar. And then my job was like, Gail, you're not a licensed, you are not an investment advisor. And I said, but I need $350 to put on this seminar at the St. Regis Hotel. And they're like, no. And I went to my mom. My mom said, Gail, don't lose that good job. Whatever you do not lose that good job. And she said, you need benefits, you have a child. And I'm thinking, I know. So she said, and I don't have $350 either. So my mother wasn't wealthy at all. And so I'm thinking, oh no, what am I gonna do? So I took a job as a waitress, earned $350 in tips, basically went and made it rain. And down there with dollar bills, quarters, everything, and said, hey, here's my $350. And then I had over 200 people out, opened up 100 accounts that night, sitting there with Melody Hobson, writing, opening accounts. And then, went to my job the next day, like, bam, open 100 accounts. And they're like, Gail, we don't want these little bitty accounts. And they said, well, you might be on to something. You could try to be an investment advisor for 90 days. If you don't make it, we want you to, give me a chair with wheels on it. You can roll right back over and be a secretary. So that's how my whole career started in the investment service industry. So yeah, but now I'm at another firm, senior director of investments. So anyway, I love my clients. I love what I do, but it's what I do for a living and not what I do for a life. But I love it. And I love because of the people that are my clients that I love.
And I think that's one of the other reasons why to spotlight you, because you are in a career field that, you don't hear of a lot of African-American women or men in that field at all. And the route and path that you took to become that is really inspirational to many people who are maybe at a dead end or at a loss for what their future entails or what route to take. You just put your mind to something and you take off moving. And then if you have spiritual beliefs, I believe that God will direct your path and
he
you
take
it from there.
And that's exactly what happened. God directed my path. And it was an obstacle course now, don't get me wrong. It was an obstacle course, but I appreciate every move I made on that obstacle course. All the rejection, everything that I did was was an obstacle course. And it was more, things were in my way and I had to climb over those obstacles. Being a single mother, being an African-American female, and being in an industry that they do, and today they still do not have that many, but One thing is, I always send the elevator back down. I always have a +1 strategy. I have interns every year that are all African American females or African American males. I bring them in. I bring them through the door. I invite them to different places. They are now, what I want them to do is to be better than me. And they now are just doing fabulous in the financial service industry or whatever industry they're in. Because I had to actually, my firms, wherever I work, if they didn't put them on their payroll, I had to put them on my personal payroll. Everybody who I walked in that door. But I did it because it was a sacrifice, but it was a sacrifice that I needed to make sure that others, if I walked through that door, I left that door open for somebody else, or I sent that elevator back down for someone else, or brought them to the seat at the table, just like, because I had a difficult time getting there.
That's absolutely the key. And since then, hundreds, maybe thousands of young people, Money Matters Camp for Youth. I know you have that. I may not be wording it exactly the right way you have it now,
No, that's it.
but
Money
what
Matters.
is it called? And tell me about that, because you impact young people, and I think that's so
That
important.
is so that's what I do for a life. The investments I do for a living, but for a life. So I ended up reading about, this was 26 years ago. I was reading the Wall Street Journal, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is a camp. It's called Rich Kids Camp, and it costs $10,000 to come to this camp. And I'm like, $10,000, but knowing that I couldn't afford to send. I had 3 sons by then, got married, 3 sons, and so got remarried. So I got 3 sons in. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I can't send one of my children to this camp, let alone, and nobody looked like me at that camp or my sons. So I said it costs $10,000 to come to attend, and $10,000 to also they had to bring with them to, invest in the stock market. These are young kids. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna do one in Detroit, charge $50. If they want $50, they're still gonna do it. I'm just gonna take off a week. So 26 years ago, I decided to take a week's vacation. I never take vacation. And I ended up putting this camp. 26 years later, I have not had a vacation. I take a week off every year, the same week in July, and I bring kids together. It started out with like 20 kids, and now it's a few hundred kids. We have a waiting list. We had a virtual campus last year, and it has the longest waiting list ever to get in the camp. And it is just, we teach them, we divide them up like stocks, small cap, mid cap, and large cap, elementary school, middle school, and high school is what we do. So we divide up all the kids. I mean, we call them young investors. They learn etiquette. They learn how to shake hands. They learn how to set the table. They learn they learn parliamentary procedure. They set their own personal board of directors. They learn the word opportunity is the first word they learn how to spell. Because in the word opportunity is the word unity, because they have got to come together collectively and start a business and pay themselves in dividends. So we've been doing this for years. They learn money baseball. They learned so many different things. And we ended up going to the Berkshire shareholders meeting. We rang the bell at the exchange. We've done so many different things. And I'm so proud of my young investors. Like I'm beyond proud. And then they come back 20 years later and they take their week vacation and they come back and help me. That is the most amazing thing, that it comes full circle. And and every year I see everybody just cry, and this year we're gonna do it again.
Sure.
I'm never gonna stop. So that's what I'm gonna do. So Gail, you gotta come out and talk to the kids, come talk to the young investors.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I love that. Also, you have, and this is open to young people throughout Metro Detroit, or what is the
Throughout the
criteria
whole
for
entire
becoming?
Metro Detroit, yes.
Okay.
Everybody can come. I mean, we don't turn down, as long as, they're eager to learn, as long as that we turn down, no, we don't turn down anyone, basically. And we do
That's
have
why
a
you have
long
the waiting
waiting
list,
list.
huh?
That's the only thing. So sometimes we get a long waiting list, but I don't like to turn down young people. So the people who came to the camp before me that kind of helped me run it now, they're like, Gail, you're not on registration this year. We're taking you off. Because I said, we know you're going to let everyone in because somebody's like, we need this person. But it's a way we teach them how to make more. We give everybody a job. And this is one thing I think is so important for everyone who's here from at Novi, at the library. I think every kid needs a job. And on that job, we put life. And that means living in financial freedom every day. So every day, all these young people have to make deposits, more deposits than withdrawals. So you'll never be in the negative. So it really teaches them how to make deposits in themselves, in each other, and never be in the negative. And then instead of knowing each other's name, like you're Gail, I'm Gail, we got Katie on here. Instead of knowing each other's name, we know each other's value. So I'll say, Gail, because your value has always been in broadcasting. So it's like, okay, Gail's value is broadcasting. So we are going to become value investors and we learn each other's value. So it's like, so the people who win the money, the young investors, is you got to know everybody's value because everybody's a value investor. Like one can draw, one can play basketball, one can swim, one can sing, one knows Chinese. So you know each other by their value. This way, everybody is valuable and every person has a value. So that's how they learn each other.
That's wonderful. Also, I know we talked briefly about soulmates,
Yeah.
or the tell me what I'm talking about, and then walking in my shoes kind of thing going on. You kind of
Yes. So
touched
we
on. Tell me what all of that
normally
is.
had a Soulmate Day in Detroit. We started out, the first Soulmate Day was with Cody High School, and then we've done it after the also, but it's called Soulmate Day. This year we're doing it this weekend, which I'm really excited about it. So Soulmate Day is a day where we put a mentor, we pair them with, we don't call them a mentor, we call them a soulmate because they exchange shoes. So the young person gets a new pair of shoes and the young person's right, what is it like to walk in my shoes? So they'll write a letter, whether they're in foster care or whether they go to Cass Tech or whether they go to West Bloomfield, whatever school they go to, Novi. We had some young people from Novi who are amazing. They write down, this is what it's like to walk in my shoes. So everybody has a story about what it's like to walk in their shoes. And now I'm having to do it on the shoebox. Like on a shoebox, right? This is what it's like to walk in my shoes. This is, I'm speaking from your soul. And then the adult pair them up and say, hey, this is what it's like to walk in my shoes. So when they wear the shoes, it's kind of like, wow, this person made it and they did it. I got to fill these shoes. So it's like, these are the shoes I have to fill. So this week, Timberland reached out to me, a guy named Eric Willingham, and I don't know if he's listening or whatever, but if he does, but I got to just say thank you to him because he works for Timberland and he has some shoes. And he says, you know what? I got some shoes I'm going to donate. So they're brand new Timberland. So kids love Timberland. So they had to write. And so we were reading the essays. And some of the essays are just our youth making it through this pandemic, being at home, whether you have every gadget in the world, whether you have all the money in the world, being on Zoom and going to school during this pandemic has not been easy for anyone. I mean, there are young people who are upset over so many different things. So we have to make sure what we do is, reach out to them. I also have done a love ladder, and I dropped off ladders to them. And I said, hey, on each step of the ladder, write down what steps you would take to get to the top. To look down, like look past, when you rise to the top, the problem looks smaller. So each step, courage, faith, let me get through this, distractions, whatever it is, running life. So a lot of my youth are artists. So I had them I dropped off ladders and paint. Like, here, I need you to do a ladder for me. Or a gratitude bench, write what you're thankful for on the gratitude bench. So we do a lot of different things in Money Matters for Youth. Just as during this pandemic, it's been so difficult. We did sweet potato sensations. We did something with them, like sweet money moves.
I just mentioned them the other day. Sorry, not to digress, but you mentioned.
So we do Sweet Money Moon Sunday with them, and I just buy like 200 pies, and they just go and pick up some pies. Everybody, every family, so we can sit down as a family. So all the families come on Zoom. And it's like, hey, what sweet money moves are you making? And they'll talk about, I saved during the pandemic. I invested during the pandemic. I did this. So we always come up with an idea to try to just keep it interesting. So this weekend is Soulmate. So that's what we're doing this weekend.
That's very good. And will there be another? I know you're doing it this weekend, so it's too late necessarily to get involved now, but will this be what, annual you said? Or maybe you're not sure?
I do it another month if anybody wants to do it. So I want to do it. Yeah. So I was just thinking, different things that we can do. So I'm always doing it. I would love to pair up our youth from Novi. I think would be so amazing.
Yes.
With Detroit. I think that would be, because everybody has the same, everybody's like, everybody's tired of the pandemic and but we still have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. So we have to deal with it. We have to stay safe. So we have to stay safe and sane, yes. So how are we going to do it and do it with love or something to laugh, something to do. So I just think I think that'll be a great way to pair up and they can meet somebody new who's having a different experience, but really it's the same, everybody has the same problem. So we're just handling it, differently. So that's all.
Yeah, we need to put your contact information in the chat area and also in the comment section so people can contact you, or they can contact me at ganderson@novilibrary.org if they want to get involved with that, because that's certainly beneficial to young people and families as a whole. I think it's really important.
We would love to have the families come out, for Money Camp this year. We would love that, definitely.
Gail, what motivates you? I mean, you already told me, I can hear it, but what else? What's your motivation and inspiration?
My motivation is bringing others joy. And I get, like, sometimes if I'm upset over something or having a major problem, or, sometimes I call it, but sometimes you have a breakdown. I call it the stop, drop, and roll, like it's a fire, stop what I'm doing, drop to my knees and, pray, and then roll it over to God and get back up and help somebody. Because there's always someone else that's in worse shape than you're in, always. So I'm like, okay, let me, God, you got this. And then I'll turn around and go help somebody else out. And then that really brings me joy, is just by supporting someone. And it's like I have the Forever 39, and that's what I do. Another thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I need to hang on to that one.
Forever 39, our symbol is a bra. And that's what it is a bra. So because that's what, and we gave out bras to essential workers with notes and gift cards and things like that, because we want to support them like a bra, keep you lifted, never leave you hanging, and stay close to your heart. So bra is our symbol. And so we started out as a book club. So it's Forever 39 Book Club. So in our Forever 39 Book Club, we don't read any books, Gail. I'm sorry. We don't read not one book. We only read numbers.
Novi Public Library.
I know. I'm sorry. You're in the public library. We don't read any books. We'll come there and meet at the library. We'll come and meet, but we do. So what we do, I know. I'm so sorry to say that for Novi Public Library. I'm sorry, but we love books. We love books. I mean, we love books. We're just a book club that doesn't read books. We only read numbers. So whether it's our BMI, whether it's our blood pressure, whether it's our credit score, or whether it's alcohol content in wine. So that's the numbers we read. So we had our first day at a winery. So now we just kind of, we do different things for fun. So we try to do things that are fun. Of course, reading is fun. I'm definitely not, oh my God, because that's the only way I got in the business is by reading. So, but reading is fun. But we try to do things that we could just laugh and talk and do things. So our book club, we book appointments. So that's what we do. We book appointments. Right. Yeah, I know. We book appointments.
That's that book connection right there.
Yeah, that's our book. Yeah. So we book appointments. So we'll come there, have a meeting as soon as the library is open. You'll love us. But I mean, well, maybe we might be a little bit too loud, but otherwise, yeah. But no, it's great. But you got to come and join us. You got to come and join us. We have so much fun.
It sounds like it.
We rented out the Eastern Market, and we had something called She Shed, She Gives. So I had all the women bring a luggage that they were going to get rid of and fill it with gift cards and with toiletries and stuff for homeless women and homeless children in foster care. And then they had to come. So we had the shed set up like for queens, and they had to walk down the red carpet and leave their baggage, their luggage in life, and then put on their crown and say, I'm a queen. Let me leave my baggage here. This is what I need to give up in life. And let me walk the red carpet. So we had over like 700 women out, and our She Shed, She Gives. So we shed and we give. We shed pounds, or we shed baggage, and we give to other people.
Isn't that something? Shed and give. I like that as well. And I think here's another question, but I think you probably already answered it, but maybe it's something different. How do you manage stress and the challenges of what's going on today? And it could be through the pandemic or through race relations, things going on there. What do you do?
How I manage stress is I do pray. I do. That's the only way I can handle stress is by pray, laugh. I love to laugh. I always find something to laugh at. Talking to my children, loving on someone else, and exercising. Now I got this Peloton bike. I love to run. I love to do things like that. So by exercising is a way to handle stress. And then sometimes I wind down.
I get it.
You gotta do something to wind down sometimes. But no, but I just think, but between prayer and between talking to people, handling stress, and I would encourage people. I tell people all the time, and I probably shouldn't be saying this because I'm like, I'm not the one. I'm probably being a hypocrite because I don't really. I send people to therapists all the time. Like, you should probably talk to this person. I love this therapist. I love this person. But then when it comes time for me to go, I was like, oh, I don't have time right now. We don't have time. But it's kind of like, but I will always. I support people to talk to other people all the time. I think we need to talk to each other and not at each other. And so that's the best way. And stress comes from not talking to each other, whether it's race relations, whether it's pandemic, whether it's, I'm feeling sad or lonely, and I, again, in every day like I said, make deposits every day. I make a deposit in a gratitude jar every single day.
Very good. Like that. Gail, since it's Black History Month, I'm sure you have a list of people, but who inspires you in African American history?
Oh, wow.
Did that catch you off?
Let's see, where's my list?
Just pull somebody out, right?
Yeah, whether they're living or whether they're not. So the first person that inspired me is my mother, who chose to love me. And being a strong Black woman, and I'm sure your daughter would say the same thing, Gail. So was my mother, was she college educated? No. Was my mother a secretary? Yes. I think that was the best. She was more than amazing and smarter than anyone with a PhD, because her love was just, her love was there and her mother's love was there. Now, she was strict. And so the first person who inspired me, I would have to say, is my mother. And the second person is people who I, never, well, not really kind of met, but, the people like the Oprah Winfrey's of the world, of course, everybody says that. But, I would say, I watch people all the time. Like, I watch people, the way they treat people. So it's not even like the movie stars and all them. If they don't treat people right, I'm not, that's not really a great role model. I think it's how you treat people on all levels of life. So the people who I'll probably end up saying, whether it's a teacher, whether it's someone who works at the supermarket, I mean, they inspire me, and I let people know when they inspire me. I'm like, oh my God, you are such an inspiration. Somebody who made it through, through cancer and through the pandemic, through COVID. That's my inspiration, and I will let them know. I write like 5 cards a day and put them in the mail to people. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for being my inspiration. Thank you for doing this. It's people who are older and people who are even younger and youth that also inspire me. So it's my list is, oh my God, Gail. You don't even know how long my list is. And then of course, the First Lady, Michelle Obama. That is that is totally my inspiration. I just think that being a mom, being transparent, being authentic, I love what she does and I love what she stands for. Of course I like Joe Biden too, but I really just admire her being a mom of young children in the White House for those 8 years. And it had to be difficult. And she did it with grace. And I love that. And I always looked up to 2 people, Jackie O. I wear pearls like every day. And Diane Carroll were like, oh my God, just be like them one day. Look at them. They're so classy. They're such ladies. So, and then
you're in that category as well.
And then another lady.
You see there.
I know, I'm like, I wear pearls every day. And then a neighbor, even growing up, I used to go down to people's homes and look like, oh my God, I love the way they set the table. And they set the table with china every day. So every day now I use real plates every day. I don't use paper plates because I love the way that they did that. So it's always, I say, success leaves clues. And just neighbors who I would just watch them and just learn from them and I admire them. So anyway, so many people.
And I know we kind of breezed by that you have 3 sons. Let's talk about them for a little second.
Oh my God. I have the best sons in the world. No son's better than my sons. I have
Of
godchildren
course,
too. Nobody's better
right.
than my godchildren. Nobody's better than mine. I know. So of course I would always say that. But no, I have three amazing sons. So I have one son that he's the oldest. He graduated from Wharton Business School in economics and marketing, and just brilliant, like totally brilliant, off the charts, highest SAT score in Grosse Pointe when he graduated and everything else. Like, I mean, like really smart. Like I'm not, he speaks all these different languages. I speak two, English and body language. So, but anyway, so if I was like my kids, I'm like, oh, okay, my kids are so much smarter than me. So Brandon is like the wise one, the smart one, the oldest one that I learn from, and I will run everything by him. So he now works at a venture capital firm. He also does a lot of different other things where he tutors and help people with their SATs. So he's been doing a fabulous job. So I'm so proud of him. My middle son is Dexter. Dexter works for Kresge Foundation. He's a special assistant to the CEO there, and he is just doing so well there. He also works for a company called Buzzard, which is a sports company. So he's a consultant for them. So he's doing that. And my baby, because I always got to say the baby. So, and the baby, Scotty, lives in Chicago, and he works for a cybersecurity engineer. And I don't know his exact title right now, but I just know that's what he does. But Dexter graduated from University of Michigan and Georgetown. And then my baby, Lake Forest, and then he graduated from there as a computer engineer, and he works for a company called Splunk, and he's doing really, really, really well. So all my kids are better than
And I
me.
ask that because, all of this is a reflection of you. And when you can raise good kids, good, successful kids who are respectful in and of themselves, it definitely reflects on the parents. So that's all a reflection of you as well. Spotlighting you through your children. I love that.
Well, I
Well,
love my babies, love
yes, for sure. I
them.
know.
And I have a few hundred godchildren, and some are just, they're all like amazing. I have so many
Mhm.
kids. So people say your kids, I'm like, related by love or related by blood? So I don't know. I was like, oh, I met your son. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, which one?
Which one? Which one of the
Which
hundreds?
daughter? Yes, I have some related by blood who is my heart, part of my heart, all of my heart. And then some, related by love. And so, and I love that because I always wanted like a huge family. And I don't know, Gail, how many kids you really, if you wanted a bunch of kids ever, but I wanted a huge family.
Yeah, I wanted 7. I have 1. I'm happy with the 1 though. But I just always had 7 in my head when I was younger, and I don't know
I
what
know,
was going
didn't
on
you?
during that
It must
time
be our
thinking that.
name. It must be our name in our hearts. Like I wanted all these kids. I used to sleep with a bunch of dolls growing up. I'm like, I just
Me
want them.
too.
Are you serious?
I certainly did.
Oh my
See,
God.
now we need to talk on the phone. Huh?
We need to talk. I did. I had all these dolls that growing up. I was like, I had a twin bed. I had 2 twin beds put together, and I just had all these dolls. And I was like, this is how many kids I want, God. This is how many kids. I want all these kids.
I did the
God
same. Don't
bless
make
me
me
with
call
all.
the names of each one because I still could today.
Me too. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so weird.
That's
Okay,
funny.
we gotta
Katie, what
talk.
are you thinking about us right now? Huh?
I know.
Love it.
But you know what? We are winding down seriously, and I do want to come back into talking about some inspiration and motivation for our current and up and coming generation. You already inspired them, but do you have any words that you can share or impart to young people of any age? Anyone younger than we are is considered a young
You know
person.
what? And I think we all need to do something to leave a legacy, to make an investment in our youth. I think investing in human capital, investing in each other is so much more important. So I always say, in order to save our children, we have to serve them first. In order to lead them, we have to love them first. So I think, and I always think love is a connector. And I think we need to step outside our comfort zone. That's where success really begins. So just a little bit of step, one little step every day outside your comfort zone. Well, that's when it'll lead to new opportunities, because fear, success is really on the other side of fear. And that's what we have to take out of our lives. I know right now, I know we fear COVID. We have to deal with COVID. We have to double mask. We have to get vaccinated. Whatever we need to do, we need to do that. So, and take out the fear and take the necessary steps to wear the mask. Don't be embarrassed to wear the mask. Don't be embarrassed to, a lot of people are like, I don't feel like wearing this mask. I don't feel like doing this. We're all sick of wearing the mask, but we're doing it for each other right now. So right now, it's not even about us. And it's about all of us together, because we are in this together. So I want, so during this time, I would just say, step outside your comfort zone, step outside of your fear, step outside, and then just love on each other. And then, first of all, pour into yourself. And then so you can pour into each other.
Love it. I love it. Fantastic presentation. I enjoy it. I can talk to you or listen to you for a very long time. You,
Well, we need to talk. We need to talk about our
yeah, I
dads.
know you're
I know.
inspirational though, and I hope you inspired our listeners this evening. This is why I spotlighted you because I felt like you had a message, you had something to say, you impart into so many lives, and that's what being a trailblazer once again is all about. I encourage you to tune in again next week, February the 22nd. We will have a father-son financial advisor team, Michael Johnson's. They're both Michael Johnson, and they have their own business in financial planning, and they
I know. I
impart.
would love to see. I saw that, and I was like, I gotta
You
see.
saw that? We got to have you come back and join them too, huh?
I saw it.
But
I was like, oh my God, I saw that. And I was like,
yeah,
yeah.
so go on our website. You can register and we can send you the link, novalibrary.org, and listen to their inspiring stories of how they became who they are and how they impact each other's lives. Also, I want to mention that we are also having Black Men in White Coats film being shown next week as well on behalf of Black History Month. And it's a very
Really?
important,
That's
yes,
great.
for sure. It's talking about African American men only making up 2% of doctors in America. And
Wow.
I must admit, I'm ignorant to that. I did not know only 2% of African American doctors are African American men. So log in and register to watch the film. And then on the 25th, it's a Thursday at 6:30 p.m. We will have 7 African American doctors, most of whom are under the age of 40, who will talk about their experiences. And I think it's very important to hear and support them and maybe
Yes.
even provide encouragement to some of your youth. So if you're out there listening, log onto our website. Gail, spread the word. You can maybe have some of your young people if they're interested, because
Yeah,
we're all
I'll
about
spread the word, but I
empowering.
think it's so amazing
Yes.
that Novi Public Library is doing this.
So
Like,
we're doing everything. We've got it, don't we,
girl, you're
Kate?
doing it, Gail. You're doing it. Yeah, you
Not
are.
alone. We're doing it as a team, but
I know,
it's
but you're
all a
putting
unified
Novi on the
effort.
map because I think
We
that
are
that's
on the
great.
map.
Because Novi is a beautiful city.
It is.
Novi has some really great stores and some antique stores too. I don't even think
Mhm.
people know about. So if I
For
need,
sure.
I know, so my best friend and I was like, let's go to Novi. Let's take it up. Like we're really going. I think if you pass a Cracker Barrel, you go. That's far to me. And I'm like,
Yeah, you've really gone past. Yeah.
I know, like okay. So I'm like, okay, let's go to Novi. So I'm acting like it's a whole different other side of the town, but
Hmm.
I do. So we go to Novi, and I love like that. Spending a day in Novi is so amazing. So I
Look at
love
that.
what Novi is doing. I love that you guys are celebrating Black History. I cannot thank you enough for doing this. A lot of city and towns will not do this. And I know next month is Women's History Month. I know you guys will probably do something for that
Yes,
too. But
absolutely.
I love that you guys are doing this. And that just shows that you guys are doing something outside the box. And so I just want to thank the city for doing it and thank them for having you pull this all together.
Oh, look, and I didn't even pay her to say that.
Oh, no, no. I mean, I think it's great. I just think it's great. Yeah.
Thank you, Gail. Gail Perry-Mason, our spotlight for this evening. I appreciate your time and thank you for everything that you've imparted into us. And that's it. We're done. We got
Okay.
everything in, and I think. And
Thank you.
blessings to you and love to you. And have a good night, everyone. Take care. See you next time.
Thank you.